Justin Ray J.R. Giddens, born February 13th, 1985. Do you remember this guy? Well, if you don't worry. A lot of basketball fans don't, so don't feel so bad. The thing is, in 2003, it was expected that this wouldn't be the case and he'd become a household name and possibly a standout in the 2003 high school class that included arguably the greatest player ever. When you're blessed with the physical tools Giddens was, there's only a few things that can stop you from becoming a star athletically, as the physical aspect of sports is 85% of the battle. The other 15 is sometimes overlooked but are just as important along your journey. Things like the school or coach you choose to put your future in the hands of, or choosing the right program that will showcase your talent at its best, having the right mindset every step of the way that allows you to stay one step ahead of the competition, or things like the right attitude to deal with the inevitable test along your journey that can determine the direction you go from there. All are very important, and J.R. Giddens was well over halfway equipped for the challenge. But the aspects he lacked in came back to haunt his journey and put his future literally in jeopardy and eventually stunted his growth. Here are 3 reasons J.R. Giddens was this close, at the same time, this far away from greatness. Salute to Toddy 2 times on IG for this request. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Get it, man. Giddens was a 6'5" shooting guard small forward from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma that was a crowd-pleasing highlight reel his entire career, beginning in high school when he jumped on the map and created high-flying expectations for himself. By his senior year at John Marshall High School, he was a McDonald's All-American, high jump champion in track and field, state champion and player of the year, and averaged 22 points and 10 rebounds. Roy Williams caught wind of the high flyer and offered him a scholarship, in which he signed right before Roy Williams left Kansas for North Carolina. Giddens still decided on joining the KU program after Bill Self convinced him to stay committed, and so he did. Quick reminder, if you want exclusive content like workout videos, ad-free features before they release here, and more, head over to the Patreon page now and become a supporter of pushing these stories and efforts to help any young hooper not have their growth stunted. It's something I wish I had but didn't, so it's my offering to you. Appreciate you guys. Please drop a like and comment on this video and let me know who I should do next. Enjoy the video. Stunt number 1, character flaws. Possibly the biggest stunt in the basketball career of J.R. Giddens is the multiple examples of character issues and maturity questions that surrounded him over the years. Ones that at every stop prior to the NBA seemed to follow him and dent his image more and more. The first coming at KU. Entering the program as a top 20 prospect and All-American, things were supposed to have been smooth for the star phenom, and in his first season, for the most part, they were. He came into a Jayhawk team that went to the national championship game where they lost narrowly to Carmelo Anthony-led Syracuse and was the 3rd leading scorer on a squad that made it to the regional final a year later. He averaged 11 points, 3 rebounds, and shot 40% from 3 while starting all but 4 games and only 25 minutes a game. Those numbers at a school like Kansas could lead the right player to a lottery selection if the right moves from there on are made. And they weren't. In another selfish move that only benefited the program, Bill Self convinced Giddens that next year was his season and he could possibly be a top pick like LeBron James should he come back for another year and run the team. He would, and it would be the worst decision up to that point of his life. Could he have left after his freshman year? Yes, why not? He averaged double figures at a major school like KU, on a team with 3 other future NBA players, made it deep in the tournament, and shot the lights out at 40% from 3. On top of that, his athletic talent automatically makes him tops in that department in any draft he's in. He absolutely could have and still went first round or even lottery with the one and done allure of potential scouts love labeling a player with. He came back and had what you never want to have, and that's a sophomore slump of a season, because it says a lot negatively about your potential and almost assures you'll have to come back for a junior season. After that disappointing year, Giddens, for some reason, at just 19, was at a bar, yes, bar at 19, where afterward he was involved in a fight where he was stabbed in the calf, received 30 stitches, and told he wouldn't play basketball again, much less be the same high flyer. He says immediately he knew he wasn't entering the draft. After the incident, Bill Self completely turned on Giddens, forcing him to move out of his dorm away from the other players and pushed him out of the program with jabs like, "Micah Downs is coming in next year, you know that, right? And he's better than you." Basically letting him know that if you can't produce for us, we gotta get you the fuck up out of here, man. Simple as that. He wound up transferring from Kansas to New Mexico, where he'd be suspended in his junior year for his character issues and behavior indefinitely that almost costed him his future altogether once again. Yes, he was a young kid that struggled like most young kids with these issues, but his almost cost him his NBA dreams and definitely cost him extra years spent in college and possibly higher draft position to a better fitted team for his skill set. Stunt number 2, good, not great. The first actual basketball stunt in Giddens' growth is that while I liked his game for what it was, he was just okay in a lot of things, but wasn't really great at anything outside of his obvious leaping talent. It's why in hindsight, leaving after his freshman year made so much sense. After that, his flaws were sort of exposed every season. He went from shooting 40% as a freshman to 33 to 30 to 33 again, finally as a senior. On top of that, he was never a good free throw shooter, never having a season shooting at least 70%, and even 2 seasons after transferring where he shot in the 50s from the foul line. After transferring and having to sit out, there's no way you're supposed to come back shooting that low of percentages. He spent his final 2 seasons at New Mexico, where he was solid but not great for that level of competition, and who knows, maybe the doctors was sorta right in that he wasn't 100% the athlete he was before the stabbing. Either way, at a school like New Mexico that failed to make the tournament either of his 2 seasons, he should have posted better numbers than 16 points, 31% from 3, 50% from the foul line, and almost just as many turnovers as assists. His rebounding was okay, but wouldn't translate to the NBA at his size and lack of physical strength. He entered the NBA at 23 years old as the 30th overall pick, and by 24 he was out of the league after having played for the Celtics and Knicks. On that level, his stats across the board were unimpressive, and get this, according to the stats, he never hit an NBA 3 in his career that lasted just 38 games. Stunt number 3, didn't evolve. Why was Giddens good but not great? He simply didn't evolve his athletic gifts into actual skills. Instead, he relied on being able to take off 2 steps past half court, where he didn't think he needed to learn how to actually dribble the ball into creating a shot for himself or a teammate, where at just 6'5", you'll need that skill in the NBA. He was always a bad free throw shooter, and those numbers only got worse over the years, from 60% in college to 56% in his short NBA career. Shooting, rebounding, defense, all much of the same, that left him as just an open court dunker, who honestly wasn't that impressive there either past his high school days. He was good, just not great, and didn't achieve his full potential. All in all, I think J.R. Giddens' story is one that is a great example of how much guidance play a part in success as a hooper. So many of us go at this thing basically alone and end up losing out to time and that short window of potential because we didn't understand life the way we may now. Also, a lesson that you have to take responsibility for your own actions because it's your bed you'll eventually lie in. He's currently a women's basketball head coach at Northern New Mexico College, where he looks to give that same guidance he may not have gotten. Salute to him, but for these reasons, his growth was stunted. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.